Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the latest release in the Nature Incarnate expansion, and that is the release of 3 new spirits and the new adversary here. So let's get started and let's take a look at the newest spirit added to Spirit Island, and that is Dances Up Earthquake. So Dances Up Earthquake is the last very high complex spirit added, and the mechanic with this spirit is it uses this impend ability. And impending, it's essentially like you're putting the card away from the game, and every turn the card is going to tick up energy. And once the card's ticks up enough energy points equal to the energy cost, the card goes into play. It's kind of like Suspend if you've ever played Magic the Gathering. And I mean, that's basically what this left innate, these 2 left uniques are talking about. So the idea behind the spirit is you're putting a ton of cards off into this impend, and then eventually they come into play, and you gain all of the elements once they're in play. So this spirit is very excellent at setting up large eruptions with that right innate, but also thresholding major powers. So this symbol here, this is referring to an impend, so a card that's in impend. This card in here, or this symbol here, is talking about cards in play. So your right innate is going to trigger if you have a lot of cards into play, while your left innate is going to trigger if you have a lot of cards in impend. So you have a defensive innate as well as this AoE damage innate. So I love Dances. It used to be one of my favorite spirits in the game. And then I played it a bunch, and it got very, very samey. I would say more samey than some of the other spirits. And that's just because this right innate is essentially a board clear into single 6 adversaries. And there are some optimized builds where you can get this consistently on turn 4. And to me, it kind of ruined the spirit. But I think my favorite part of the spirit was not knowing that and just kind of just playing the spirit for what it is and kind of exploring it. And that's when I had the most joy playing the spirit, but still an incredibly powerful spirit and can do some very cool things. Oh, it also starts with 6 cards too. So, okay, so let's look at some of the other aspects. So we ended up getting the deeps aspect for ocean. So deeps, let's show that panel. I like that water sound. So the big thing with deeps is it changes the innates from drowning and fear to placing these deeps tokens, and then when you have enough deeps tokens in specific lands, you can permanently erase them from the game, which is pretty awesome. I think this is a way more thematic version of Ocean. It's also a little bit more balanced than base Ocean. Whenever you see me playing Ocean, I'll be playing deeps now, just because I find deeps to be far more enjoying than base Ocean. So, yep. And we have one more spirit, and that is Serpent, and that is the locust aspect. Oh yeah, that's a sick sound effect. So locust aspect for Serpent is incredibly powerful, and it is an Incarnate aspect. Now the big thing with locust, well, there's several changes with it. So the first thing is you start with an Incarnate. In addition, the Incarnate empowers once you reach this Earth spot, and this empowered Incarnate counts as a Badlands. You also get to start with an additional presence on the board, and I think you get to pick. I believe, if I remember correctly, one of these presents comes off, but I might be... I think this fire comes off, add move. We'll have to see. Maybe I am misremembering. It's been a while since I've played the spirit. You also lose the Aegis defense. So if you guys remember, Elemental Aegis is a... Oh, show the panel. So Elemental Aegis, this is a AoE defend that's going to defend target land in all adjacent lands. And then that defense is going to get increased based on the number of absorbed presence that you have. So you have this very powerful defensive tool. It's very, very critical for the defense of this spirit. So the locust aspect completely gets rid of that and gives you Pull Beneath, which is a minor power from the minor power deck. And it's not really a good card, but it has great elements for that left innate. Now, the reason why you're playing this spirit is because of this left innate. And what it says is, after a spirit uses a land targeting power card, they may repeat it at the Incarnate by paying its costs. You may help pay some or all of this cost. And then if you have the second threshold, you also get to add a vitality. Now, this is going to trigger once per absorbed presence you have for that spirit. So let's say you're playing Locust, right? Turn 1, you absorb River. So now, every time you hit this left innate, you get to repeat one of River's land targeting cards at the Incarnate. So very powerful, especially with major powers. Imagine if you're going to repeat a threshold to cast down, you can completely sync a board with Serpent. And remember, you don't have to rely on the other spirit to pay it. You can, because you have a 4 energy button, you're generating a ton of energy from Absorb Essence. Remember, this card gives you 3 energy. So basically what the spirit is doing is you're repeating Absorb Essence, and I forget the other card. I think it's Gift of Flowing Power. Yeah, I think you're repeating Gift of it's Gift of Flowing Power plus Absorb Essence every turn, because that gives you this tier of the innate until you can get the extra water. But this tier allowing you to constantly repeat a ton of cards. And since you're absorbing every turn, your ability to repeat cards is growing massively. Now, of course, it always has to be at that Incarnate, but you are able to move that Incarnate. You can add / move the Incarnate to a land with your presence for free every turn. So that is the aspects as well as the new spirit. The last thing that was added to the game is the final adversary, and that's Habsburg Mining Expedition. So I'm going to do some games with Habsburg Mining. I can't wait to do the Ninja Sea Turtle team into the 6/6 combos with this adversary. Those are the final games I need to complete for that achievement, I guess my own achievement, and I haven't lost a game yet, so I'm hoping I can keep the streak going. I think there's 7 more combinations, but I heard that some of the mining combos are absolutely brutal. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.